So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our session. Today I've got two gentlemen with me, and today we are going to talk about how data is going to help marketers to make faster and better decisions. First question, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Certainly. We'll do a better job of managing customer data, and that's what we'll do today.
And my name is Neil Brookman. I'm an alcoholic. I'm sorry, this is the wrong forum.
Wrong
My
name,
name is
yeah.
Neil Brookman. I'm Senior Director of Solution Engineering for Treasure Data. We are an enterprise customer data platform, and we will discuss that a little more over the next few questions.
That's perfect. And I'm Dorothy Chong from Treasure Data, and my role here is to get more information and knowledge out of you guys. So thank you very much. We've only got 20 minutes, so let me dive straight into it by first of all asking, when you speak to chief marketing officers and chief data officers, what are typically the problems that you see regarding data in the organization?
Well, actually, the chief marketing officers and the chief data officers are going to give you different answers, right? The chief data officers will be talking about the quality of their data or the lack of quality of their data and how hard it is to access that data, and they will be very mournful. The chief marketing officers will be talking more about the fact that they can't access the data that they want. They're not even aware that the data is bad because they can't get their hands on it yet. So they are more about, well, there's all this information that I know is valuable. I know if I could just get my hands on it, I can make so much money for my company, but I can't get my hands on it, so I'm just really frustrated. So that's the kind of thing that's on a chief marketing officer's mind.
Sure. What about you, Neil, from a technical perspective?
Yeah, we see similar things. The big issues we see are data silos. You have the contact center doesn't have any information on what people are browsing online. They don't know that there are certain things happening. And also poor quality data. There's lots of Mickey Mouses in the system and people that are not putting accurate data, and they're not able to centralize that to get the intelligence and the data accuracy they need.
Sure. I'm sure that's a lot of common problems between organizations. But let's dive straight into the next question that actually is a very good leeway into that. So talking about the solutions and system, what do they usually have already in place?
So most companies have a CRM. They have several email tools, depending on the size of company. There's always a few spreadsheets floating around. There's that system that Bob created 15 years ago that no one knows how to work it. And this is a challenge. So there's lots of systems. They have different sets of data in there, and they're all siloed, and most of them don't communicate together.
And David?
Yeah, well, that's what you're going to find is that some companies will have 6 systems, but most large companies have dozens, in some cases actually hundreds. I'm sure you've seen companies with more than 100 systems that have customer data, because there's a lot of customer data today. And it sits everywhere. It's not just in your marketing automation or just in your CRM. It's in your delivery system. It's in your billing system. It's in your privacy management system, your consent management system, which is something else we should talk about, problems that CMOs worry about. So there's all this data in all these little silos, as Neil was saying, and they don't even know how many systems they have, actually, in most cases. But there's usually a good solid half dozen major ones.
Yeah, and on that point, when there's not lack of systems and having so many disparate systems in places, why are those systems not already solving the current challenges?
Well, every one of those systems does something, we hope. There might be a couple. The one that Bob built, nobody knows what that one does. But most of them do something useful. But they're all designed for a purpose. The CRM was designed for the call center agent or for the sales agent. That's what CRM does. So you build that a certain way to serve that person. The e-commerce system was designed to take orders on the internet. You build that system that way. The DMP, your data management platform system, is designed to select audiences for advertising primarily. So every one of those systems does a particular thing, and it's built in a particular way. It wasn't built to pull all the data together and build unified customer profiles and then share that out. which is what a CDP does, if you want to mention CDP. Do I get a prize for being first to mention CDP?
CDP, Customer Data Platform, right?
Oh, Customer Data Platform. I wonder what that stood for. So it wasn't built to pull all the data together to solve either the chief data officer's problem of quality or the chief marketing officer's problem of connecting his silos, which is what he wants to do. So to do that, you design a system in yet a different way, because they're all different technologies that are optimized for each of those purposes. So the reason the other systems can't do what a CDP does, in short, is because they weren't built to do what a CDP does.
And what about you, Neil?
Yeah, echoing that as well, that systems have been built for a purpose, and 20 years ago, a contact center, they didn't have websites to worry about. They didn't need to know what people are doing digitally. People didn't have mobile phones. So the contact center was built to store certain information and react in a certain way. Technology's changed dramatically over the last few years, and that's caused lots of issues, because a lot of people, they think they can manipulate the current system and they can effectively build a pig with lipstick and make it work. And I always use the sort of analogy that you could quite technically cycle from London to Munich. It's possible to do. It may seem like a cheap way to get there, but the reality is it's going to take weeks. It's going to be really hard work, and it's probably going to cost more in the long run with food and hotels rather than just getting a flight. And that's where the challenge is. People are trying to manipulate systems that aren't built in a certain way and try to enrich them, and it's not a good idea to do that.
Absolutely. So talking about customer data platform, how would a good customer data platform help organizations to resolve those challenges?
So again, the customer data platform was built specifically to resolve those challenges. So what it does then is it has tools to ingest data from all those other source systems, a lot of pre-built connectors in most CDPs, or at least an open API that lets you build your own connectors relatively easily. It then, again, is going to have the data quality tools to assess the data and at least notice that there are errors, if there are errors, and possibly fix the errors, depending on the nature of the system that you have. It'll have tools to do matching, identity resolution, to figure out that this email address and that telephone number and that postal address and that device are really all the same person. Nowadays, it'll have some privacy components as well to make sure that they have consents and the different uses of the data are actually consented properly. It'll then have tools to take all that data that you now figured out belongs to the same person and reformat it in a structure that allows you to access one person's data easily all together. Again, there are different ways to organize the database, but you want to have that customer view be available. And then it may have analytical tools as well, but mostly important, it'll have then tools to actually let other systems access that data, which may require yet a different format of data storage that's more suitable for querying against. So there's all these different components that get combined to deliver the customer profiles, which is really the core purpose of the CDP.
Perfect. And for Neil?
Yeah, just to add on to that, the sort of primary goal of a CDP is to build that golden record. So to eliminate those data silos, bring everything together, to resolve identities. So not just the deterministic identities where this email is this email, but using probabilistic matching. So we think this person online, even though they're anonymous, is the same as this person. So when we're doing recommendations, let's treat them a certain way. So getting that golden record and then getting some intelligence on top of that, looking at all of the big data, and then surfacing information. So wouldn't it be great if your contact center, when somebody phones, rather than having to say, A, who are you? You've got my telephone number, you should know who I am. And B, why are you calling? When 10 minutes ago I was just looking on the website in the help area to look at certain things. So bringing all of that data together, letting the machine give you some intelligence, and then pushing that out to the marketers and other people within the organization to have a centralized view and be able to activate on that very quickly. And as I say, removing those silos.
Sure. So I'm not sure if I'm asking the million-dollar question here, but talking about that, why is it difficult for organizations to extend their current portfolio of technology instead of investing into a customer data platform to solve the problems?
So people quite often look at the cost of a CDP, and they're looking at it as a cost rather than looking at the benefit of that, and then looking at return on investment. We're all consumers. We all get frustrated with certain things. I use the example of phoning a contact center. But what about if I'm mid-complaint with a company and they're suddenly sending me marketing material? Not only is that a waste of ad spend because you're messaging me, but it's also a very poor customer experience. So it's just making sure that you have the tools, you have speed. A lot of companies come to us and talk about a 72-hour latency from data coming in to being surfaced. So if you're retargeting someone for the next 72 hours when they made a purchase, again, that's poor customer experience and very, very poor ad spend. So a CDP is built to do that, to do everything at scale, to produce everything in real time, and to let the machine treat every individual as an individual, even if you've got 100 million customers in there.
And what do you think, David?
Yeah, I think that actually it's important that we talk about the value that's being given here. Because this is not a technical audience, I don't think. So we're talking a lot about how CDPs work and what they do, and that's all cool, and I'm sort of a technologist, and you're sort of a technologist, and Dot will make you an honorary technologist because you're really a marketer. So as a marketer, you probably don't care how a CDP works, right? Not really.
I should.
You should.
I probably don't know.
But in fact, you care about what does it let me do for my customers?
The outcome.
What's the experience? What better customer experience can I get? And the answer is a lot better. Okay, so now you can buy a CDP, because you know why? Because you get a lot better customer experience. But what does that really mean? It's about what Neil was saying about being able to respond to what they did quickly, not slowly. So they made a complaint, stopped the promotions. They visited a shopping cart, but then they bought something, again, take them out of the retargeting queue. Do those things quickly so your customers recognize that you're listening to them, you're understanding what they're doing, you're actually delivering value in that relationship, because especially today, coming back to privacy, which is like one of my many obsessions, privacy makes it so much more important today to prove that you're giving the customer something in return for their data. And customers are very aware that you are getting their data. We used to think as marketers, customers don't care about privacy, they don't know how all this works. They know, they do care, it turns out. And we've seen very, very steep increases in the level of concern over the last really year or two about privacy. So customers really want to know that you're going to give them something of value. And something of value, honestly, it's not a better promotion. They don't want to be marketed to. But it's better service. So if you can make returns easier, or if you can make recommendations of what would go with the product you just bought, or here's some development in a field that we know you're interested in, that kind of information. Those are the sorts of things that actually customers will find to be truly valuable. Or indeed, they like discounts too, right? So but you can't give everybody a discount. You have to target the discounts to make money as a marketer. So the CDP lets you give them discounts, but give them discounts in a way that's actually profitable for the company. So those are the kind of concrete benefits that are important in getting your customer data together. And I don't sell CDPs, these guys do, but I don't care if you buy a CDP or not. But I do care if you give your customers good experience, because I'm more of a marketer than anything else by trade. And the only way you're going to give them that good experience is to get that data organized and accessible. So that's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I couldn't agree more about the security and privacy piece, especially in this part of the world. So thank you very much. That was, incredible answer for that. I know that we're running out of time. So within a few sentences, would you be able to let us know how does a good customer data platform help us marketeers to make faster decisions and, definitely a better one?
So I may be a little bit biased working for the leading enterprise CDP, but I can give my view. So it's just making sure that you can connect all sources. So whether it's online, offline, a 360-degree view needs to be a 360-degree view, not a 359-degree view. So make sure you can connect every data source. You can resolve identities to create that single record for every single person, and then have the machine learning capabilities to give you intelligence. So David mentioned about sort of good customer experiences and easy return. But what if, as a seller, that you can predict products better? So from past buying behavior, we know that they're buying certain types of clothes, they're sending back certain types of clothes. Let's let the machine decide in this next purchase, is this something they're going to return or something they're going to keep? So we can actually improve the customer experience there. So it's spinning it on its head a bit.
So we just say, no, you don't want that one. I don't know if my CDP is going to, if I want to do that as a marketer, I might show them some alternatives.
Yeah.
I don't think I said, no, I'm not going to sell you that. You're going to return it. And I don't like you. Yeah, 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the value that the CDP is going to give, it is really going to, ultimately, it comes down to that customer experience and better understanding of your customers. So it's, in addition to the actual experience that you give, there is the analytics and the understanding and setting up of programs. There's a broader set of strategic things that you can, in addition to the purely tactical things that you get by doing better marketing. So yes, CDPs are great.
Absolutely.
Offer a lot of value. Buy 2 or 3,
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with us today. We are located at Hall A4 and booth Delta 10. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about Customer Data Platform and how it can help you make better and faster decisions, please come to visit us. But for now, thank you so much to David and Neil.